So, have you ever heard of this guy called Adolf Hitler? Well, of course you've heard of Hitler. And the reason I'm bringing up that name, which is kind of just a dirty word in a way, is that I keep hearing it all the time. And it's something that I used to be on Fark.com. I used to get all my news through them. The original fake news, Fark.com. And we often spoke of the Godwin effect, which is when in any political discussion, eventually it goes back to Hitler and the Nazis. And it's amazing how quickly we shortcut to that right now, especially looking at debates about immigration, about the treatment of people, about policies, about reflections that people have had, accusations that Trump is like Hitler. As if it's something original. You know, I've grown up with this stuff. I remember when we elected Hitler Obama, and I remember when we elected Hitler Bush. And I remember Hitler characterizations of every modern politician that we've had. And so I don't understand why this is still so vogue, why it's still so trending. I heard it must have been fake news. It's hard to tell anymore. I mean, some of these memes are so great that they are almost real in themselves, but someone was saying that the aliens guy, aliens, you know, that meme from Ancient Mysteries or whatever, the H channel, would be in charge of this new space commission that Trump is going to make or something. When I see the H, or when I see Legacy, when I see like cable TV, which you know, I only see in certain circumstances, I think of, you know, that H being representative of Hitler, because I remember when the History Channel just did nothing but Adolf Hitler videos. That's all it was. And if you go on YouTube and search the name Adolf Hitler, there you find many millions of videos, I would say. And the simple fact is, there have been more biographies written about Hitler than any other person in living history. Which is kind of frightening when we consider the concept of second death, as that Satanist, wonderful Satanist guest from, I forget the name of the metal band, but he was on Jesse Lee Peterson's show, was mentioning the idea of second death, and when we have someone that horrible, thinking of how far they will live as their name will continue to be spoken. I think if Hitler were to come back, I know Germany did some movie about it, but I never saw that, but if Hitler were to come back, he would be shocked at just how popular he still is. And it was a couple summers back. I was, this is before I left for Saudi, when I was still back in the States. I remember reading a book about Vlad the Impaler. And one of the strange takeaways from that book, even though they didn't mention it directly, was how this legit, real human tyrant became this mythical Dracula vampire. And it almost made me worry, just think about Adolf Hitler, and how just like with all these cultural derivatives from Vlad the Impaler, who famously stuck poles up people's bodies and killed them and left them en masse for everyone to see, I wonder if there will someday be some caricature, bizarre representation, some cartoon image that was based on Hitler that didn't refer initially or entirely to the original man. And that's the problem when we have people that become these exponentially famous figures. They become more than just the human beings they are, but actually cartoon caricatures of themselves, whether it's the Beatles or Elvis or anyone else, or Jesus for that matter. Anyway, I just wanted to point out that I'm sick of hearing about Hitler, and I don't think there isn't much that can be drawn. There aren't many comparisons that can be drawn between American immigration policy and Nazi Germans. Of course, according to D'Souza's book, which I reviewed on this channel, and I decided that I didn't really like, the simple fact is, Hitler and the Nazis borrowed a lot from the United States to begin with. So I'm not sure if that helps my case or what. I don't think that illegal immigration is the same as genocide, and I'm just going to repeat that again. And I'm sick of hearing about them, and I just wish we could focus on somebody or something or anything else. It's kind of funny, like in my time in the Orient, I've been able to look at swastikas as something completely different. You see hundreds and hundreds of them in the actual Nazi colors around shrines in Korea and in Japan, and in certain shrines here even. And it begins to lose that same sting or that same weirdness. In the same way that the hammer and sickle, which, you know, to an American, this idea of communist Antifa thugs or whatever, if you see that, it's kind of a threatening symbol in an American space, whereas out here in Vietnam or in most parts of the world, I would say it's much more neutral. Anyway, I have a lot to say about symbolism, and we'll get to more of that later on, but I just wanted to just say in general that let's just put Hitler in the bin. I'm sick of hearing about him. I am sick of hearing about Nazis. Let's focus on the world as it is right now. And as always, may your path in life be free.